Welcome to SVR IAS Academy. ComeOnIndia.com is our website. Today's date is 23rd May 2016. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss one topic in detail, that is Chabahar Port and its importance to India, recent development on the Chabahar Port and where Godar Port is located. What is the significance of this port? What is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project? And what do you mean by string of pearls theory? And where strings are located in Bangladesh, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Maldives, and in Pakistan? And why India has less trade volume with respect to Central Asia, Eastern Europe, and with Afghanistan? Why we are unable to increase our trade volume with these regions, and so on. So this topic is very important for GS paper 2 foreign policy. So let's start the video lecture. Now let's discuss about an important port, that is Chabahar Port and its importance to India. It is a very important topic for 2016 prelims and mains examination, because recently our Prime Minister visited Iran and trilateral agreement which includes India, Iran and Afghanistan. These three countries signed a trilateral agreement on the development of Chabahar Port and for its further use. In this background, let's discuss each and every point which is important for the prelims and mains examination. Just look at the Asian map, and what about India's trade with Afghanistan? What is the trade route? Pakistan is located between India and Afghanistan. At present, Pakistan allows Afghan goods to enter India, but Pakistan is not allowing India's goods to travel through its soil. So you have to find alternate route to reach the Afghanistan. Afghanistan in Taliban issue, you might be knowing very well. So stability and peace in Afghanistan is vital for India. So for that, trade relations with Afghanistan is important, and India already invested more than $2 billion in the reconstruction of the Afghanistan. Now locate the Central Asian countries from Kazakhstan to Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan. These countries are called as Central Asian countries, where population is less and at the same time natural resources are huge. Minerals and gas resources are huge. But India's trade with Central Asia is below potential because of the trade route. How to trade with Central Asia? There is no direct land access to this region. So India is finding very difficult to trade with Afghanistan on one side and Central Asia on the other side, and also with Russia. Here, Russia is located here. Russia is a country located in both Asia and Europe. Russia is the only country in Asia is located in both Europe as well as in Asian continent. India's trade relations with Eastern Europe is also far below the potential. So, India is finding it difficult to reach Afghanistan, Central Asia and Eastern Europe. We can reach Eastern Europe by traveling to the Red Sea, from Red Sea to Suez Canal, from Suez Canal to Mediterranean Sea, and via Turkey between two straits, Strait of Bosporus, and then here we are reaching the Black Sea. From Black Sea we can reach Central and Eastern European countries. But the cost is little higher. So how to manage this? India recently signed trilateral treaty which involves India, Iran and Afghanistan to develop the Chabahar port. Chabahar port is located in Iran in this point. Chabahar port is very important from India's point of view because Chabahar port is developed from here our goods can reach the Afghanistan, here the country Afghanistan via rail and road links. So our trade with Afghanistan will increase and Afghanistan will get prosperity and stability of Afghanistan will increase, which is vital for India. Chabahar port is located in Iran, that already we discussed. The point of location is here. The important prelims point is that it is the only Iranian port which has direct access to Indian Ocean. So it's one of the important prelims point. From here, India will construct road and rail to Afghanistan, and in Afghanistan we already built a road length more than 300 kilometers between Jaranj and here the place called as Delaram. It is a very important prelims point. So India constructed a road link in Afghanistan between 2 points. One is Saranj and Dilaram. So after construction of the Chabahar port, if you travel via the rail and road link, you can reach the Afghanistan Saranj place, from where you can travel in the India constructed road to Dilaram, from where goods can be distributed throughout the Afghanistan, and also we can reach the Central Asian countries via two routes, whether we can go via Afghanistan or we can go via Iran and Turkmenistan. From here we can enter the Central Asian countries. As already we discussed, Central Asian countries are rich in natural gas. Iran also rich in natural gas like Russia. Natural gas is a very important for production of urea. As you may be knowing, urea is the only fertilizer which is subsidized in India under administered price mechanism. Under administered price mechanism, urea is the only fertilizer which is given at the subsidized rate. To produce urea, we need gas at relatively cheaper price so that our current account deficit will come down. So natural gas is an important ingredient for urea production. India has almost negligible amount of natural gas. So we are importing natural gas from other countries. If we pay higher price for natural gas, automatically the production cost of urea will increase. But urea is given under administered price mechanism to the Indian farmers. If production cost increases, then government has to bear the cost. Then current account deficit will increase. In this situation, If Chapakar port is developed, we can import the gas from Central Asia through pipelines. We can construct till Chapakar port, from where we can import gas to India. Another point is that India is planning to construct natural gas plant in Iran itself. Then we can produce urea in Iran, then we can import directly to India. It will reduce the cost further. And also there is a proposal to construct undersea pipeline from Iran to India, probably Mumbai. So undersea pipeline, if it is implemented, it will reduce the cost further. It will reduce the cost of transportation of the natural gas and crude oil further. And the important issue is that before economic sanctions imposed on Iran, Iran was the second largest supplier of crude oil. Iran was the second largest supplier of crude oil after Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia was the number one country in supplying the crude oil. After economic sanctions, we could not pay the amount to Iran for our crude oil import. So because of the economic sanctions, the amount of crude oil import came down drastically, and Western countries imposed economic sanctions on Iran for its nuclear program. About Iranian nuclear program, we already discussed in our separate video lecture. And recently, agreements signed between Iran and P5 plus one countries. P5 plus one countries. P5 stands for permanent members of the UN Security Council. P5 members are China, Russia, USA, UK and France. These are P5 countries. P5 means permanent 5. They have permanent seat in the UN Security Council. The P5 plus 1, the one indicates country Germany, which also involved in the Iran nuclear talks, and IAEA also participated in this. After sanctions lifted, India is active in increasing our relationship with Iran, and in near future, Iran may become second largest supplier of crude oil to India in near future. China's location is strategic one. It means it has strategic location when compared to India. India also has strategic advantages in terms of its location. It is located at the center of Indian Ocean. China also has many strategic advantages. The northern side, it has a direct access to Russia. It borders Russia on the northern side, and on the eastern side, it has East China Sea, South China Sea. These two seas have excellent fishing grounds and has huge quantities of natural and crude reserves. On the western side, it has direct access to the Central Asian countries. Also, it borders Afghanistan. That's why it has strategic advantages. Because of its location, Russia built gas pipelines from Central Asia. China has certain drawbacks when it comes to importing the crude oil from Persian Gulf countries. If China wants to import crude oil from the Persian Gulf, means the oil should reach in this route. Here is called Strait of Malacca. It is a choke point. Strait of Malacca is located between Singapore and on the one side and Indonesia on the other side. Then oil has to reach this route. It is a relatively lengthy route, and in near future, if any tension occurs in the global level and if US or any country blocks the Strait of Malacca, which is a choke point, then it will become difficult for China to import crude oil from these countries, and China's energy security will be affected. To avoid such situation and also to reach the crude oil to the western China, China is building CPEC project, that stands for China-Pakistan Economic Corridor Project. It starts here and it goes via Pakistan occupied Kashmir and reaches here. The port here is called as Gwadar Port. Gwadar Port. So China is constructing the Gwadar Port in Pakistan and also building road and rail links passes through Pakistan occupied Kashmir and reaches China. The project has many benefits to China. The project, that is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, is beneficial for both the countries. It will benefit China because instead of relying on the Strait of Malacca route, now China will be able to import crude oil from the Persian Gulf, from the Gwadar Port, from Gwadar Port to the economic corridor and reaching the western part of China. And also in future, China may build pipelines directly from the Persian Gulf, then Gwadar Port directly can transport crude oil via pipeline. Another benefit is that the goods produced in the western part of China can be transported through this corridor project. From Gwadar Port, it can reach the West Asia and Europe easily. Political analysts call Gwadar Port is a part of China's string of pearls. It's a part of China's string of pearls. String of pearls theory is that China will construct ports around India in different countries, in Maldives also, in Pakistan also, in Pakistan, Maldives, Sri Lanka, in Myanmar, in Bangladesh also. These points called as strings. In Sri Lanka, the place is called Hambantota. Hambantota is a port is being developed by China in Sri Lanka. In Bangladesh, the port called Chittagong Port. In Myanmar, the Chitwe Port. In Pakistan is a Gwadar Port. These are strings that China is creating around India in different countries. About string of pearls theory, we will discuss in detail in our India-China relations video lecture. Another important point is that the distance between Gwadar Port and Chapar Port in Iran is just less than 100 kilometers. So Gwadar Port is being developed by China and Chapar Port is going to be constructed by India. So political analysts say that if India develops Chapar Port, it will help to counter China's expansion into Indian Ocean region and especially into the Persian Gulf. That's all about the important video lecture on Gwadar Port, Chabahar Port, string of pearls theory and so on. So prepare well on this topic. Surely you will get one question, especially in the GS paper 2 foreign policy.